Yo guys, there is a big storm going on in the Netherlands, far from ideal fishing weather. I doubt there will be any maniacs out on the water today with a fishing boat. I've seen some of you fishing from the banks. What better way than to spend my Sunday finalizing another video in the Explain series. Today we'll be talking about paravans or side planers, and we'll give you an insight in all our tactics, specific tips and tricks. There's a ton of information in this video, so make sure you watch the entire video. And if you miss anything, let us know in the comments. And if you want another topic to be covered, let us know as well. So without further ado, have fun and enjoy the video.
Look at this beast.
Hey guys, welcome to another video in the Explain series. Today we are going to talk about fishing with paravans or planerboards. What is the actual word?
Yeah, I think paravans is the small ones and planerboards is the big ones.
Yeah, big side planers and paravans. We call them planerboards in the Netherlands, but I don't know, I've been switching to paravans a lot. It's like a plastic board with some clips on that moves in one direction, used to generate extra distance between you and the boat, between the bait and the boat. And one of the most important things, actually, I think, is you cover more ground, right?
More water.
More water, yes.
Yeah.
Because if you, let's start drawing straight away, because I'm getting the hang of the drawing.
Yeah, maybe like.
Yeah, well, we're like that. You're better at drawing. Let's draw a boat in a situation now. What's the advantages of using a planerboard or paravan?
So, say this is your boat, and you are covering the water in this direction. When you're fishing with only hand material, you're like one rod like this, one rod like this, one like this, one like this.
You're probably covering like how many?
Yeah, and you're probably covering like say 10 meters.
Yeah, tops, I think.
So,
yeah.
When you're fishing with the small side planers, let's start with those. We've got this boat again. You've got one rod behind the boat on each side, and then you've got the little side planer here and one here. And then we have the big side planers in Sweden. They are allowed in the Netherlands, but the Netherlands is way too busy to be fishing with those.
There's some other downsides to it as well, which we'll explain later on. But yeah.
But when we're just talking how many water you cover, well, you have a big pole on your boat. These are the side planers, like this, going like that. Say you're covering 80 meters. So that's the difference with covering water. So a lot of people will say, well, fishing with these big planers is not fishing at all. But when you're fishing a humongous water like, say, Vänern or
any big lake, it's gigantic and you need to cover all the grounds. Yeah,
you're still looking for that needle in the haystack.
Yep.
When you're fishing this 80 meters. And you're, well, with the 10 meters, with only hand rods, you're looking for, well, an even smaller needle in an even bigger haystack.
Exactly. Let's, these three scenarios, I think it's a good thing to walk the audience through what the benefits are of the regular trolling like this, when you have the trolling with the small side planers or the more small paravans, and then you have the big side planer system. I mean, they all have their benefits, but they also have some downsides as well.
Yeah. So, let's start with the benefits of using no planers at all. You're trolling, you get a strike, you can work the pike, your body just reels in the rods, puts them in the rod holders, and you're not very far away from the boat, so you're just taking in the rods and you can catch the pike.
Yeah.
When it's really busy on the water, you're only looking forward and you can go through narrow channels or through rocks or just right beside other boats, you don't have to worry about anyone going over your line or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's easy, it's carefree, I guess, but you're not covering a lot of water.
And also one of the benefits is that you can fish more directly. So you can fish on and off the drop-off, like you can stay on the drop-off easier. When you have small side plane, small paravans, or you have the big planer system, especially with the big planer system, you're not as agile, as flexible as you are with just normal rods standing on your boat. You need to, with the big side planers, you need to calculate, you need to plan in advance which direction I'm going.
So you're not taking any risks.
No.
Risks you can take when you're just with hand rods, and you can go directly over the drop off or something you want to follow, or near the weed lines, or
also because it's easier to adjust. If you have your bait out with the first scenario where you just have rods sticking out of your boat, you can adjust the distance of how far the bait is behind the boat, like we covered in another video, and that will determine how deep your bait is swimming. But when you're using the side planers or the small paravans, you can't really adjust the depth of your swimming. The only thing you can adjust is the speed, and that's what we do with the side planers or with the small paravans. Is we speed up and then we can let the baits rise.
Yeah.
If you're using swim baits, if you're using crankbaits, for instance, then they will dive deeper and then they will go. Then it's much easier to slow everything down and then they will come up a bit more. That's one of the benefits of using no planers at all. You can also adjust the depth of your bait, and that way you can take more risk and fish a bit sharper against the drop off, or fish in certain spots where you would normally not come when you're using side planers or paravans. Are there any downsides besides covering less water?
Yeah, you're constantly, the lures are swimming very close to one another, so if you make a sharp turn, then lines can get tangled very easy, stuff like that.
Yeah, and also with a really sharp turn, you also have the problem with lines maybe coming close to your engine. That's something you don't have with side planers. I had guys from Sweden coming over who were just amazed by the fact that we troll in, without any side planers, and that we catch fish close to the boat. Yeah. In terms of fishing pressure, it's kind of a strange thing in the Netherlands. It's quite cool to share it, I think. In the Netherlands, often on areas where there's a lot of shipping going on, often the bait that is directly in the the turbulence of the engine, of the outboard, is the bait that performs the best. And that's, in my opinion, because the pike are used to a lot of shipping in that area, and they know that the bait fish will get in trouble when they get into that turbulence of the engine. And so they will, lie on a certain depth, look upwards, see a boat passing by, and they know if I look in that big stream of bubbles and turbulence, chances are there will be a bait fish that's in trouble, and that's just an easy meal. And that's why they are quite fixated about that particular area behind the boat.
They don't care at all about a boat passing.
No.
They just, just like you're saying, it's more like they like it even. Yeah,
we've caught fish like 2 meters close to the boat. And that's also my reply to those Swedish guys is how often did you catch a pike while casting for them, and you get a pike hitting the bait close to the boat? I mean, they're not scared of the boat. Of course, they will associate it at one point when you get
when you've got the sun like this on your back and you're standing up tall, and then it's following your bait, and then it sees you standing there. Of course, it's some sort of evolutionary thing where they have to be afraid of like an egret or something like that. I think it's
true. True. How about this system with the smaller side, the paravans, the small system?
For me, this is what works the best, because you are agile and you're covering a lot of water. But a lot of first timers, they always complain about those little clips, the line clips. Your paravan is bobbing like this in the wind, and then it goes off, and then they have to reel in everything. So
you have to use heavy line clips.
I
want to have strong ones that I really need to pull before it gets off the line. For those who don't know, a paravan is like a small metal, plastic part, sometimes from metal. it floats in the surface, and there's a line clip attached to it. One swivel or one snap that you lock it onto your line, which slides up and down, but you have like a snap, which you put your line in, and there's some tension that just puts some pressure on and keeps your line inside that snap.
Yeah.
But if that snap isn't strong enough, it will come off quite easily, either by taking a turn, speeding up, or like a wave. When it dives down a bit, it creates more drag and then it pulls it out. So you want to have snaps that are really strong. I use the offshore release tackle, the offshore release 19, I think is the exact one.
The orange one?
The orange ones, yeah. I really like them, but some use them from Scotty as well. I think you use them from Scotty.
Yeah.
The black and really bright
green fluo.
Yeah. Those are really well snaps. Usually we all replace the standard snaps on our small Paravans. You have to do it, otherwise you will pull your hair out of frustration about how many times you get. Yeah.
So the cool factor about using the small Paravans is when you make a turn, two lures on the other side of the turn, they're speeding up, and the other two are slowing down and dropping to the bottom. So if you're making, if you're trying to find out whether the pikes like at the moment see a fast lure or a slow lure, if you're just going, you're not trolling a straight line, but you just go left and then a little bit right and then a little bit. Wauw.
Wat was het ook alweer?
Piep. Je...
Moet niet. Niet zo van die benden zeg, jezus.
Ja, lekker.
En de hele, hele dag stift te snuiven.
So you're doing that little extra thing to your lures you can't do when you're fishing right behind the boat. And of course you're covering more ground. So what I would like to do, is get one side of the boat with the Paravans going over the drop-off, and you fish them more shallow, and then the other guy is fishing on the other side of the boat with more deeper lures on the deeper end.
Ah yeah. We should draw that one out as well. That's interesting to draw. And where we have like a really shallow area and then a slow drop off like this. And then we have some grass growing here. And then we have some rocks and shit. And you can draw the fish.
Yeah. You've got like your rods right behind the boat. They're going here. And you've got one Paravan here and one Paravan here. Your buddy who's fishing on the high end of the drop-off will be fishing a shallow lure right here, and a lure that goes a little bit deeper right there. And on this rod he can fish a lure that goes like this.
Yeah. And these are like, you know, these are fixed. And this one is the flexible rod where you can give more line or get more distance behind the boat, or change a lure that goes deeper or more shallow. The rod close to the boat, the hand rod, if you could call it that, is the one that's flexible. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you see on your sonar a shallow area coming up, you just reel it in really fast.
Yeah. Cool.
So, and then the guy on the other side is fishing like this with his lure, and the other ones are a little bit deeper.
Yeah, or you can do it shallow if it's really clear.
Yeah.
Put the shallow out as well. Yeah. But the one on the deep side is more flexible at fishing at different depths. Yeah.
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 So I wouldn't take like 6 the same lures at 6 the same depth.
Exactly.
I would try a shallow one, some on half water, and some deeper ones.
Yeah.
And you can also let those run more shallow because you don't want to hit the lake bed with those. So say you're fishing them also like the other guy up here, and you just move around with this bait when you see the depth changing.
Yeah.
And that way you can see whether the pikes are shallow or deep.
One other tip that I would like to give is that always fish the outer lure, the shallowest of the three you have. Because if you use a deep one on the outer paravan and you hook a fish, it will stay deep and swim towards the back of the boat. But if you have a shallow one on your second or your closest rock to the boat, then that line will cross. If you have it the other way around and one goes deep and you hook the fish in the shallow parts, it will go over your line and you don't get tangled. Small but effective tip, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's go back to the benefits again. The different systems.
So let's put things together. So the small paravans, you are more flexible than with the big ones.
Yeah.
You are covering more ground than when you aren't using any paravans at all. But you do have to take into consideration that you're wide. You have to watch other boats and you have to be careful about not entering too shallow water, because then you will be able to do nothing.
Yeah. The downsides?
You have more work, you have more line out. When your buddy catches a fish on, say, this rod, you have to get his hand rod in and his other rod. And with the planers you've got more line out, so he will be doing some work. And of course you have this, well, I don't mind, but a lot of people do, you have this little metal or plastic thing like this big dangling on your line, giving some drag, making it easier for the fish to lose your lure. Some people they use a system with 2 clips. Then the paravan gets off and you get a strike, but when you go into the waves and you have to get it back, I don't think that's effective.
That's annoying. Yeah, you have to go all the way back to pick it up, and with high waves you lose it, and then you're searching around to get it, and then your buddy misses it at the first time. You need to turn around again.
You're missing out the point of being effective, because you're wasting a lot of time retrieving the little paravan in the waves.
Most good paravans on the market, they will, of course you still feel the drag of the paravan, but you know they fold in a way that you have the least amount of drag. You still feel it, but it's okay to fight. But use a heavy setup, use heavy rods, and that makes it easier to fight the fish. Yeah,
and when you lose a thicker line, the clip will stick better.
Yeah.
A lot of people trying to paravan are fishing with a really thin line, and then every 5 minutes.
It's annoying, yeah. But that happened to me. I fished a lot with Power Pro, and then I used the silencer braid from Savage Gear, which is really smooth. So it has some benefits. I mean, you fish deeper, you create less noise in the water, it has less resistance. But I also noticed that some clips didn't really like the really smooth and slick line. So when you have like a rougher braid like Power Pro, which you can feel isn't really smooth, then it will stick better into a clip than when you have a really round and smooth line like silencer braid from Savage Gear.
At the moment I'm fishing with the Tough Line XP.
Yeah, this one's pretty round.
It's really it's really rough.
Okay. Well, that sticks in good.
So that sticks
in good. Yeah. All right. And then we have the big system.
Yeah. Of course, the huge benefit you have is covering a lot of water at the same time. You can use a whole array of lures to find out which one is working best that day. So we are usually fishing with 4 rods in the clips and 1 right behind the boat. So let's say this is the paravan. You've got a pole standing right on top of your boat. There's a line going to that pole. And then you can just, you have little clips you put on, and then you can just move all the lures over that line and you cover a lot of ground.
The benefits from this system is that you can put like 5 rods on each side easily. And if you do it in the correct way, not mixing up too many deep and shallow lures altogether, you won't get tangled up.
Yeah.
But the trick is that when you hook a fish, don't fight it straight away, but give it some time to rise towards the surface, get in the back of the backwater of the boats, and then fight it in the backwater. If you don't do it, and you start fighting a fish straight away, you will pull the fish through the lines you still have out, and then you will have an issue.
And you will have a whole shitload of problems.
It takes some practice to actually get a feel for it.
Yeah, it looks so damn easy when we're doing this.
No, it's not rocket science, but it comes close to it.
No. When you get the feel of it, it's easy. But when you bring in a buddy who hasn't done it before, then you notice how complicated it is.
Yes. Are there any other downsides of the big system?
There are a lot of downsides.
I hate it when they dive down, because when they dive down, they will grab the other lines. But when they're on the surface, they will go over your other lures, and then you're fine. But when it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, I'm like, come on, please, just go into the backwater of the boat.
So when you get a strike, you most certainly have to set the hook, but you just keep the tension on, and you'll wait a little while, and then when you see your line going like this, from there behind the boat to there, you can start reeling in.
Yeah.
It's not the most fun way to catch a pike.
No, it is not.
So
it's really effective, and it's like almost a necessity if you want to be effective on big lakes that you hardly fished before, or when you're fishing pelagically for big pike. But it's also less flexible. We had situations where out of nothing a thunderstorm just came in and then you still need to reel in 5 rods per side, plus you need to reel in the planer system, which will roughly take you like 10 minutes to get everything packed. And we see bolts of lightning coming out of the sky hitting the water. It's not the most comfortable situation. Touching your rods and you feel them being electrically charged. Better fishing experience than those.
And of course, when you are not known to the area where you're fishing, and there's some sort of shallow area on the map that you didn't know about.
Any last tips when rod positions and stuff?
Yeah, what we like to do is we put some stainless steel rod holders in the boat, a line of 6. Yeah. And you can put the 4 rods that are in the planer clips, you can just put them straight up. What we like to do is use rods that have the same length, exactly the same length. So all the lines going to the side planer line won't be like crossing each other or rubbing against each other, but they're all going very smooth. And
one of the benefits when you put your rod tips up like that, but also with the small paravans, is that when you put them upwards, the line goes from up straight towards the small paravan. If you put them in a normal position like you would do with a rod holder, your line will be touching the water,
increasing the tension,
but also picking up stuff that's floating in the water, which really is an issue in the warmer countries, or like in the Netherlands, we have all kinds of dead vegetation flowing in the water, and you will pick it up, and it will get stuck on your planerboards, and then eventually it will get stuck in your lure, and then you catch less fish. That's also one of the reasons why we don't use the big side planers in the Netherlands. One reason is there's a lot of shipping, so you will see a lot of sailing boats and stuff. They don't pay attention.
They're the worst.
Go straight to your lines. The pike angler's enemy. They should outlaw it. Sailing with a sailing boat on pike fishing waters. But big side planers will cause a lot of troubles in the Netherlands. So I wouldn't do that. And also, when you are using it, you will pick up a lot of shit in the water. And with the big side planers, it's hard to detect when you have something on your line. When you're using small paravans, then when you see the angle decreasing, or when you see them getting closer and closer to the boat, it's an indication that you probably pick something up, like floating vegetation or something there, some shit sticking on your hooks.
Or sometimes you've got a really small fish.
Really small fish sometimes, that happens too. Time to reel it in. Reel it in, clean everything, put it out again. If you don't do it, you will decrease the chance of catching a good fish. And we all had it that we were just too lazy to reel them in, and then after 3 hours we're like, fuck.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of weeds on the hooks.
We had a weed bed.
Or mussels, they're the worst.
Clams, mussels, yeah, they will blunten your hooks, but also they will decrease the chance of catching a fish. So clean it off, and like I said, when you see the paravans coming closer to the boat or the angle changing, it's probably an indication that you pick something up. So that's something you need to pay attention to, and that's also the downside of the big side planer system. You can't really detect if you pick something up. So checking it at regular intervals is probably the best thing you can do. That's actually another explained video where we try to cover tactics, techniques, or any specific stuff in our fishing game. Thanks for watching so far. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers!